Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to get into some fitness videos now. This first one is going to be a push session, so a mixture of shoulders, chest and triceps. I'm going to be grading these workouts in order of difficulty, so this first one is going to be a level 1. There's nothing too fancy about how the sets are put together. It should be fairly basic for most people to follow along. I'm just going to be giving you some ideas, tips on correct form, technique and what we're going for in each exercise. Different sets, reps and structures that you're going to see in this video. Let's get into it. So in this first clip you're going to see a plate loaded shoulder press. This particular one, I think the arms weigh about 5 kilos in itself. So to give you an idea of how I built up to this weight, I will start with one plate aside, 5 reps, build up fairly quickly. The idea here is we're trying to develop strength, so I'm working in a 5 rep range. So started with one plate, 5 reps, maybe 10 just to get warmed up. Up to 2, 5 reps and then straight into the 3 plates. This is fairly heavy for me at this stage just because of cutting, new year, trying to cut down some body fat. So what you're going to see here, as I'm setting up, I'm driving through my legs as hard as possible, pushing myself into the pad, driving my chest up in towards the handles essentially. That first rep, normally the most difficult because I'm starting in a stretch position. After that I can control how low I want that down to come down. Again, I'm aiming for 5 reps here, and as you see as I'm going through, this is now getting quite heavy, so I get towards 5 reps. Exercise, we're moving more into hypertrophy. So this is a dumbbell chest press. What you're going to see here is something slightly different to how most people set up a dumbbell chest press. So with a more traditional press, this is definitely very lightweight. You're going to see here I'm lowering the dumbbells down relatively far down my body and I'm trying to tuck my elbows in. The idea is I'm trying to get these dumbbells as far past my body as I can to stretch through the pec. You know, if you're getting a larger range of motion, even with less weight, you're potentially getting more work. So as we're going through here, you see I'm wearing wrist wraps. That's just trying to protect my wrist as much as possible. Start with a fairly easy press and now I can start to control the movement. So you see I'm keeping my hands at about 45 degree. Elbows staying relatively tucked, so about a 45-degree angle, and I'm deliberately lowering the dumbbells down as far past my body as I can. In terms of rep range with this, each rep should be with a 3-second eccentric, roughly. Press up, and I'm trying to keep tension on my pec here, so I'm not locking my elbows at any point. And I'm aiming anywhere here between 10 and 12 reps. I believe this was our first set, so I started with 20s, went 25s, and then up to 30s. Again, still relatively light compared to what most people will do with a standard dumbbell press. Give this one a go, you'll feel this in your pecs the next day, I promise you. So moving on then, we're going on to a compound set. This is aimed at, again, really targeting our pecs before we move on to a tricep essentially. What you're going to see here is a pec fly. I'm doing this on a narrow set of cables. You'll see here at the very end of the movement, my arms are being pulled back completely. And the goal here is to try and relax my shoulders. The goal with any fly is just to try and pull your upper arm across your body. Okay, again, I probably could have taken the wrist wraps off here, but it's easy to keep them on for an entire workout. Again, so I'm coming through, trying to squeeze at the top of the movement, stretching out. I'm deliberately slowing down the movement here. Now, as we move through these flies, I'm deliberately doing these first before we do the pressing aspect of this compound set, just based on the amount of weight that we can use. So coming towards the end of the fly set here, now you'll see I'm going into a narrow press. I'm taking my hands down towards my ribs, elbows stay tucked, and I'm pressing my hands up, forward and up essentially. Again, this is one of those try and stretch through. I'm not locking my elbows at any point. Give this a go. I promise you your pecs will be burning afterwards. So moving on then, we're moving on to a tricep push down. Using a machine for this one, very straightforward. It can only really move in one direction. And what I'm doing here is move the handles in so that they are as narrow as possible. So you'll see here as I start to press, essentially my elbows, I'm trying to keep them as tucked in as possible. The other thing we're looking to do is make sure our traps aren't coming up massively. They're going to slightly, but it's more trying to pull your shoulder blades back and together, elbows staying tight into the body. So as opposed to some workouts where you stay in an 8 to 10 rep range, I've tried to cover a number of ranges here. So we start off in our strength range, upper sets of 5. We've gone into more of our traditional range. We're going to our sets of 10 to 12, into our compound sets. And here we're finishing with first tricep exercise of 20 sets. Repeat this multiple times, hit multiple sets of 20. Again, it's really useful for overall muscular development. Don't just stay in the 3 to 5 range or 8 to 12 range. Go above. I promise you'll feel it and you'll start to see results, because those 8 to 12 rep ranges, suddenly you'll be able to push more weight and handle that volume a little bit better. So rounding out the workout here, we have a final compound set, this time aimed at targeting our triceps. You can see here I'm starting with a standard tricep cable extension. Again, what we're looking for here is, it's the elbow movement for me. So my elbows are not going to be moving massively in this workout at all. I'm trying to drive my chest up. I'm leaning forward slightly just to provide that little bit of stability. But as I'm coming down, I'm squeezing at the bottom, pulling my hands apart. If you can't get your hands apart, then the weight is probably too heavy. Make sure that the weight is light enough that you can get down to this bottom position, fully extended arm, and you can hold that position. So as I'm coming towards the end, I'm starting to fail on these tricep extensions. My hands stay together, and I'm just banging out as many reps as I can, just close grip, press down. So the reason for this, again, you're slightly stronger on a press down than you will be on a full extension. So we're maximizing how much work we can get out of our triceps within one set. Repeat this a few times. 2 to 3 sets is more than you need. If you're doing this right, you shouldn't want to do more than 3 sets. So guys, that's it for this one. Again, I'm grading this one as a level 1 in difficulty. The exercises everyone should be fairly familiar with. There's a couple of compound sets in there and some rep ranges that people probably aren't used to, but play around with them. Give them a go. You'll probably find that you'll get some benefit out of adding those in. Let me know what you think. If there's any workouts you'd like to see or any particular exercise you want me to cover in terms of technique, please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. We're going to keep the videos coming. See you in the next one.